Hey guys, I'm Billy with P3 Tactical. Thanks for watching. I wanted to throw up a video today about a drill you can do that will improve your performance with your everyday carry pistol that has a red dot sight on it. We're seeing these more and more and more. People ask all the time, what do you think about them? I'm all for them. I think they're a great thing to have. I think we're going to start seeing them just more and more and more with law enforcement, military, and with everyday carry weapons for civilians. I think the benefits are just so profound and crucial that the more we test them, the more we see how reliable they are and how important the benefits are, we're just going to stop having excuses not to use the red dot sights on our pistols, right? So it's kind of the same thing we went through with rifles, 5-10 years ago when we started seeing more, aim points and EOTechs and the really quality red dot optics come out. There was a lot of, the old kind of traditional guys saying, hey, irons, they're always going to work. The battery's not going to die. The glass isn't going to break, right? All the old tried and true arguments. But then they started seeing what a difference a red dot sight makes. And now we're seeing it, like I said, with law enforcement, military, and of course with civilians as well. So I think we're going through the same thing with the red dot sights on pistols. Now, with that said, the number one pitfall that a lot of new shooters have is they haven't perfected their presentation yet. And that's going to kill you with a red dot, right? So what do I mean by that? What I mean is, when you come out on target with your pistol, with a red dot, if I'm just off right, if I'm off left, if I'm up, down, if I'm off at all, if I'm not, aligned, if I don't have my right sight picture, naturally when I come out, it's going to make it really difficult with my red dot because my dot is going to be off the edge of the glass very quickly, right? So if I come off on camera and I'm perfectly centered, I only have to deviate up that much and my dot is completely gone, right? Here's my perfect sight picture. Here's no dot at all. You can probably barely even tell that from the camera, and it's a very, very small difference. And so for a lot of new shooters, if your presentation isn't perfect, you're going to just be frustrated. What you'll see guys at the range do all the time is come up on target and they start doing this number, right? Trying to find where the dot is. That's nothing to be ashamed of. It just means you have some work to do. So here's a drill you can do to help fix that. Number one thing we need to figure out is if you're consistent, right? And a lot of times you'll notice when you're shooting a red dot that maybe when you come out, maybe this time I'm off right a little bit. And next time I come out, I'm off left a little bit. And I'm not being consistent. Well, that may be because there's another problem we need to fix, or it could be that because you're trying to steer it in with your eyes, right? Even if I keep my threat focus in my peripheral vision, I can see my gun down here and I'm trying to steer it into the target as I come up. Well, that's really hard to do, and that's going to cause you to be inconsistent, right? So what I want to do is figure out where my presentation comes to naturally, first of all. The best way I found to do this is to actually close my eyes when I'm doing it, right? So I'm actually going to close my eyes and I'm going to come out with my pistol. And then I'm going to open them without moving and see, okay, where's my dot? Okay, obviously I'm high, right? So if I'm high, I'm just going to bring it back down and I'm really going to feel that adjustment that I just made, right? Come back in my holster. Do it again. Okay, I'm high again. Feel that adjustment. Feel that adjustment. Come back. Okay, I'm still high. I'm going to feel that adjustment. So what I've just learned is my presentation is actually really good because it's consistent. And that's the most important thing. So what I've just done is kind of mimicked what happened to me when I first got a red dot, right? Because I've been an M&P guy for the last several years. That's all I've shot. I haven't really been a Glock guy, so this is a Glock. So I switched this platform recently, and the first couple times I'm coming out of my holster, I'm like, man, I'm high, because my grip angle is different, and I had to work on punching the gun out level, right? So what I learned is I have to just adjust my wrist angle, but you need to make sure you're consistent first. So with this drill, I can see, okay, am I coming out left this time? I'm coming out left. This time I'm coming out right. Okay, if that's you, then we have another problem we need to fix, and we need to get you consistent with your presentation first. There's a few things you can do to fix this. The best thing you can do is get some good quality training, because a trainer will be able to come up next to you and say, hey, this is what you're doing wrong. Here's where your thumb isn't in the same place every time. Here's where I saw one time you came out like this, the next time you came out like this, right? And so they can very easily look and figure out where those inconsistencies are. But one thing you can do is make sure that you're making your grip as consistent and repeatable as possible, right? So a big thing is when I'm first coming out of the holster, I want to make sure my hand is always in the right place first. I don't just want to snatch this up and realize, oh, my grip's bad, and then try to fix it. That's going to be really hard to do at speed. So what I want to make sure that I do before I do anything else is make sure my hand is swept all the way up on the grip of that gun, and it's in the same place every time, so that as soon as I come out of the holster, I'm all the way up where I need to be. That's going to be important. The other thing that's going to be important is where your hands come together. Where should your hands come together is sort of the most natural, repeatable place you can be. So what I want you guys to do, if you haven't done this before, is just kind of clap your hands naturally in front of you, like you would at a show or an event or whatever, right? Just clap your hands naturally. That's where your hands should come together when your gun is with them. Just that natural clapping point, right? So here's where my hands actually come together. That's where my gun's gonna come out, right? It's just gonna come bam, right here, right where I would clap my hands normally, okay? That's gonna help me make sure that I'm doing it the same way every time because it's the natural place my hands come together anyway. The other thing you're gonna wanna do is make sure that your support hand knows exactly where to go. Try to make this as repeatable as possible. Try to figure out a spot you can feel on your hand and tell immediately if it's wrong or not. So, like this gun here, this is the Polymer 80 Glock 19 lower. It's got this ledge right in here where you set your thumb. That makes a huge difference. It's very helpful. I've also got an extended slide release here, and so what that does is I can feel it right in that groove of my thumb and tell immediately if I'm too far forward or too far back or whatever. I know if I'm right where I need to be immediately. So you want to make sure you're as consistent as possible. If you're consistently off in the same place, that's good. That means that you're still consistent, which is the most important thing, and now you can just work on making that adjustment. But if you're not consistent, we need to stop, we need to back up and get consistent first, right? So anyway, guys, that's a drill to help you improve your presentation with your red dot pistol. Hope that helps.